So, guys, thank you for joining us. We are on episode 2, talking about coffee self-talk, how you can talk nice to yourself and learn from the expert. Kristen, please share with us.
Hello. Thank you for having me again. I think you and I had talked a little bit about creativity recently. And, the craziest thing about creativity is that, like, it's so important for life. It's so important for every aspect of life. And I didn't know that. I never thought of creativity as this, like, almost like this, it gives you like this glittery edge to life. Like it makes it goes next level. So your coffee self-talk is amazing. You're building this foundation of self-love. You're building worthiness. You're, going after goals, and you have this confidence and stuff. But then sometimes stuff happens in life, and problems, anxieties, stresses. And what I've learned, what I've discovered through this whole process, and I'll tell you how I came to it, because I kind of came to it backwards, was that creativity is so critical to living a really magical life. So the first thing you have to know is creativity. I'm not talking about just, for authors and chefs and poets and musicians and stuff. I mean, that is creativity for sure. And it's actually how I came full circle to see how important creativity is. But if that's how you think of creativity, as only for those people, then it's time to reevaluate what creativity is, because it helps you come up with solutions, and it makes it a lot more fun. You become more open-minded. So there's like so many benefits to being creative. And one of the things I've done is infused words about creativity into my coffee self-talk scripts. So I don't think we talked about it last time. Maybe we did, I don't know. But when I started doing my coffee self-talk, and I wanted to live this happy, sexy millionaire life. I was not a happy, sexy millionaire. I was building up my happiness. The word sexy for me is very youthful and vibrant. So it had to do with like the health aspect. The happy had to do with like the mental aspect. And the millionaire had to do with this kind of mindset of this life I wanted to live that was freedom. So millionaire to me was like my code word for freedom, because I knew with abundance, I could be more in control of my schedule. I could, do some more fun, cool things. And so I had this mindset of, I'm going to be a happy, sexy millionaire. But I didn't have any idea how it was going to happen. That's part of the magic to the whole process is, and that's probably a topic for another day, is you create these goals, and there comes a point where you have to kind of surrender, because you can't always know how it's going to happen. But I thought I would know how. And I thought I'm going to, I didn't think it was going to be me. I thought it was going to be my husband. I was like, my husband's going to become this writer, and it's going to be famous, and he's going to make these books that are going to get turned into movies. Like, I had these ideas of how I could become a millionaire. And it turns out that it ended up being my own personal writing success that catapulted and changed our lives. So I thought it was one way, and I was totally on a different road and had no idea what was going to happen. So there I am doing my coffee self-talk. It's changing my life. And I start to put into my self-talk some lines of affirmations about being creative and being a writer. And you have to understand that I never thought I had a creative drop of blood in me. Anytime it came to story time with for my daughter, I asked my husband to go make up the stories, go do bedtime, please. If she wanted to play dolls, oh my God, I wanted to pull my hair out. I'm like, I don't know, they go on a date. I don't know. It was like torture. But it goes into the room, and he grabs the Barbie dolls, and they're like forming corporations, and they're like hiring and firing and mergers and acquisitions. And he's stealthily weaving in business lessons, and there's ninjas, and there's all this crazy stuff. And I would stand there. I'm like, how does he do that? He is so creative. I am not creative. And so that used to be my mindset. I thought it was just for the artsy fartsy people, right? So, but I wanted to be more creative. I thought, well, what if I became a writer? And I started putting lines in my self-talk. I kind of snuck them in, I am a prolific writer, and I am a creative genius, and I have tons of stories to tell. And I would read my normal coffee self-talk script, and these lines were in there. And I don't know, some months go by, and still I have no idea how things are going to happen. And I'm in my mom's backyard during the pandemic, and I get a story idea. And so long story short, I was so shocked I got the story idea. I literally turned around in my seat and looked to see if like something, like, how did this idea get into my head? My mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, I got a story idea. And then I didn't even really know how to write a book. Like I didn't know how to write fiction. So like, then I had to be like, well, I got to learn how to write fiction. So the long story, not short, is that I used my coffee self-talk to convince myself that I could write stories and be a creative. And then I ended up writing a bunch of romance novels. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought I was writing fiction books, 5 years ago. So I write a bunch of fiction books, and because I was writing as an author, I start thinking more creatively. I start to, like, when I go on my walks, I start to like open my mind because I knew how important creativity was for an author. But here's the interesting thing. Opening up myself to creativity as an author showed me how important it is to open up to creativity for every aspect of my life. I mean, from fixing an appliance that breaks to deciding how to lose weight or how I'm going to go about becoming healthier. Relationships, using creativity in relationships and making them stronger. Like I now use this term creativity with everything I do in my life because it just does something interesting in your brain and opens you up. Because I don't know, it's almost like a part of the recipe for creativity. It's like a fundamental aspect. Like, of course, you have to be open-minded to be creative, right? You can't be stressed if you want to be creative. When you're stressed, you clench up and the blood flow doesn't even go all over your brain, which is necessary for creativity. So I tell you this story because creativity changed my life, and I use it every day. And we're all born creative. We forget, we, as children, we're creative and we have these imaginations and we imagine magic wands and how we want to live our life and everything. And then we forget this stuff. And then we start to think that creativity is only for certain people, and it's not. It's for all of us. And it just, I don't know. I'm sorry. I went on a very long story there.
No, I love it. This is so true because every time I hear the word creativity, I'm thinking about, oh, artistic, writing, painting, decorating. But it is true. It's channels that we have in our brain that we blocking over the years as we grow with the upbringing and how we supposed to be. So we blocking that because, I remember that because I love painting and drawing when I was young. And I'm like, you cannot be rich. You cannot make a living from being a painter. Look at Van Gogh. Only when he died, he became super famous. So you have those limited beliefs since you were young. So you block the creativity in your head. And what you just said, it's so true because the book, by saying those affirmations, you're kind of opening those dormant channels in your head. And like if it was me 2 years ago, if I can go live on Facebook, I would have a tantrum. I would lose my beep, you know. But today it's like, okay, fine, challenge, accepted. Let's do something else. Let's pivot. Let's figure a way. So it's so true that when you put those, you're feeding your mind those thoughts. Yes, I'm creative. Yes, I have great ideas. Yes, I can do those things. It's opening up like things that you've never believed you're capable of doing. It's so, so powerful.
Yeah, and it all starts with just telling yourself with your self-talk that you are creative, that you have creative capabilities, that you love creativity, things like that. And then there's other things you can do to kind of foster it. Like, for example, you can take imagine a table of, or even like if you're, like I'm looking in my office right now and I got all this crap all over my desk. And if I just take a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and I just kind of look at all the different things on my desk and just imagine connecting them differently. So creativity is connections of ideas. It's having some kind of experience or idea or picture or word in one part of your brain and something else over here, and they crash together like bumper cars. And you have this like new, that's how ideas are formed. That's creativity. It's just connections of things that weren't previously connected. So for me, it might be like if I'm going to try to do a story, I might take, a story my friend told me about how her cat brought a frog into the house. And then I connect it with some experience of how I was trying to help my mom fix her refrigerator. Like two seemingly different things, but they crash together. And this usually happens when you're not even thinking about it. But I'm trying to explain like intentional creativity is taking different ideas and just crashing them together and seeing what happens. So like if you're looking at your desk, like I have a better example of this. I was at my mom's dinner table one time and I was doing this exercise and there was a bottle of wine and there was hot sauce and there was salt and pepper and she had this like little spinny dolly thing. What do you call it? A lazy Susan
Lazy Susan, yeah.
napkin and all that. And then like I had my pad of paper and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there and I'm thinking, I want to foster my creativity. I'm going to look at what's on this lazy Susan. I'm going to connect two things that aren't connected. So I thought hot sauce and wine. I'm like, and I started thinking like, what if there was like spicy wine? Like, what if they connected grapevines with like jalapeno peppers and like they grew them together. The wine was spicy. Like that might be the stupidest idea in the world, but it was an idea. And I didn't have that idea before. And I was like, you start to get excited when you have these crazy ideas. In fact, I keep a list. I call it the silly ideas list. And I'm trying to think of the guy, El Tucher. I think his name was El Tucher. He's the one I learned about this from. He calls it the shitty ideas list, but I call it the silly ideas list. And every day he writes down 10 shitty ideas or 10 silly ideas. They could be so dumb. The idea though is that you get practice coming up with ideas. And the more practice you have doing this, and you're probably never going to do anything with these ideas, but it gets the gears turning. It strengthens the creativity muscle. And then one day your refrigerator power goes out on one wall and you're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And you start thinking about, oh, I got to get coolers and I got to put all the food in. I got to call an electrician, blah, 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 because it's like happened to me. And you're like, wait a minute, I'm creative. I'll come up with a creative solution. And then boom, this idea hits you and you realize, oh, I can take the plug and I can go under the garage door and go plug it into the garage. And it's an extension cord. Like I solved a problem that, yummy. I'm telling you, 2 years ago, I would have said to my husband, Greg, the refrigerator went out. What do I do? And I solved it. Little
That's amazing.
the simplest example of how powerful creativity can be in our lives to help us with problems, to help us plan the next holiday trip we take, to think about something that you want to do on a romantic date with someone. Just so many ways creativity can be used. And the fundamental things are add it to your self-talk and tell yourself you're creative and start to believe it and then watch the magic happen. I think at some point we either think we have it all figured out or we just get busy with life and we forget that life can be so magical and creativity is a really, really big part of it. Because I mean, like again, when you think of creativity, you naturally think music and books and movies, and that's all great because those things are all so beneficial for making your life feel magical. You know, a funny movie, a great book, you get lost in it. It makes you use your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
But don't think about doing it in our own lives. So it's awesome. And I love talking about creativity. And I wrote, and I know you talked about this the other day, I wrote my book, Wine Self-Talk, where I really focused on creativity and tapping into that inner genius and why it's so important and how beneficial it is. And there's tons of scripts in there all about creativity.
But do you recommend to have flashcards? Is that easier for you?
I just did the flashcards because I was going to hold up one at a time. And I thought if you were able to read it, I wanted you to be able to read it. But normally, the only time I have something that is like a single affirmation on a thing is typically if I use sticky notes. I am such a sticky note because I will stick single affirmations on my car dashboard, on my computer, on my bathroom mirror, you know, the door to the garage, my refrigerator. I'll hide them. I'll put them in a pair of shoes. I'll put them in a winter coat. And then like I don't get it for 6 months. So I will do affirmations like that. But normally I just do them just, you know, a whole list of them. Like I read them right out of the Coffee Self-Talk book. When I wrote the affirmations, the scripts in here, they're the ones I use. They're the ones that I wrote for myself. And then I put them in the book because I thought, well, people might need help getting started. So yeah, it's whatever gets you going, whatever works the best for you. I'm a big fan of stickers and, you know, glitter pens and different colors. So I do like handwriting them because I can use all that stuff, but I also keep them in my phone in the notes application because that way I can have them when I go somewhere. Especially if I'm having a bad day. If I'm having kind of an off day, I pick a single mantra and I repeat it whenever I'm taking steps. So when I walk from my desk to the kitchen or when I go sit down on the toilet and pee, like I'm just repeating my mantra, you know, whether it's a mantra about worthiness or happiness, or if I was stuck on a scene that I'm writing for a book, I might have the mantra, I am creative. I am so creative. I'm so creative, and I just get into it. I sing it, I dance it. Yeah. So it's sometimes like that. And sometimes it's all day long. And sometimes it's when I'm falling asleep. And then you train your brain after a while. I mean, people ask me, well, how do you keep up with it? What do you do if you have an off day? Well, I'm a different person now. I am no longer the person I used to be with anxieties and stress and fear, controlling my life. I now control them. And as a result, it's my default mindset. It's my MO. So for me to just go through my life, I have this kind of backdrop in the back of my mind about how amazing I am and how magnificent my life is and how beautiful everything is, and how incredible I am just the way I am, like right here, mistakes and all. So it becomes it becomes you. It's like it gets in your DNA, but you got to show up and do it every day in the beginning and sometimes multiple times a day because you have to train just like you go to the gym or you take a vitamin supplement, right? Like you can't take vitamin C once a week and expect it to, boost your immune system. You got to take it right.
Yes, you got to do it every day, every day, every day. So it's not like once you do this, it's eliminate challenges in life. Challenges will come. It's just you are more immune to how you respond to it and how you deal with it. So when it comes to you, it's not as devastating, it's not putting you down for days or hours, right? You have a weapon. You have a weapon to like, okay, it's okay to have a bad day. It happens, things happen and we're just going to deal with it with saying the affirmation and using my
Yeah.
my immune system that I built.
You become stronger, you become more relaxed, it's like, you were saying earlier, something happens and instead of losing your bleep or whatever beep, instead of losing it, you naturally, you just relax. You're like, oh, well, we'll do something else. No big deal. Like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I used to be such a nut when it came to stress and freaking out about stuff. When I was, well, I don't know, even 10 years ago, like the littlest thing would freak me out, or I would lose my cool. My husband, on the other hand, was always, and still is, just total Zen. Like he's just the chill dude. And, so he once bought one of these like chimes and he put it on the kitchen counter and he said, Kristen, anytime you start to freak out, I'm going to hit the chime. And the rule is that when you hear that, you're to stop whatever you're doing and you're
And
just to
chill.
take a deep breath and you're to chill. And I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, fine.
Did it work?
He did it and it worked. And it was like Pavlov's dogs. Like it got to the point where he could ding that. And I was like trained to just chill out and relax.
That's amazing.
I'm not like how I used to be. And that's the whole point of all this. You become someone new. You become someone who flows through life more. You become someone who relaxes more easily with difficult experiences and times. And it's all because of self-talk. It's just words,
Amazing.
change the way I talk to myself, just words.
That's amazing. And everybody can do it. Everybody and anybody can do it. Men, women, children, everybody can do it. And that is the magic of our mind, We have this incredible brain inside and we have the power to reprogram it for our benefit.
That's right. Any age, absolutely. Any age. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow,
Well,
I love it.
you want to close out with some creativity affirmations?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, I'm going to say one and then you repeat after me, okay?
Okay.
I love being creative.
I love being creative.
I am a powerhouse of creativity, ideas, and imagination.
I'm a powerhouse of creativity, imagination, ideas,
Imagination.
imagination.
Brainstorming ideas and solutions is easy for me.
Brainstorming ideas and solutions are easy for me.
I am worthy of creativity.
I am worthy of creativity.
Anything is always possible.
Anything is always possible.
I open my eyes to the sky.
I open my eyes to the sky.
I relax my mind and creativity zooms through me.
I relax my mind and creativity zooms through me.
I am interesting.
I am interesting.
I am full of ideas.
I am full of ideas.
And last, I open my creativity wings wide, ready for a wild ride. I'll do it backwards.
I'm open my wings of creativity wide
I'm,
and
I'm ready for a wild ride.
I'm ready for a wild ride. I love that. I absolutely love that. And guys, everybody can do this. This is so simple. Um, get the book. You guys gonna get all that wonderful stuff inside the book and the workshop. Can you talk a little bit, just like a few seconds about the workshop that's coming up on the 16th?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. So as my thank you gift to everybody who has one of the original Gangsta Coffee Self-Talk books, which is what you just held up, or has ordered
The new one.
the new edition, which I teamed up with Penguin Random House to do. My thank you gift is we're holding a free online live workshop, and it will be this week, November 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern. And it is going to be like, you don't have to have read the book because some people are just getting their books now. It's going to kind of be like the, hey, the starter, let's get going. Let's talk about coffee self-talk. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have a holiday surprise in there. There's going to be giveaways. I have a Q&A. And I'm going to talk about how to write your scripts. I'm going to talk about how to do your script. What else? I have a whole list of stuff. Oh, I got my agenda right here. We're going to have a little practical time where we work on things and then we can share them. So it's just going to be, it's supposed to be an hour. I have a feeling I'm going to go a little bit longer, but here's the thing. It will be recorded. So even if you can't make it, if you sign up for it, then they'll send you the recording later. So if you're in another part of the world or whatever, but it's my thank you. It's a one-time thing. I've never done it. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm invited.
I love it. You're amazing. I just love your energy. I'm so glad
Oh,
you're.
thank you. Thank you. You're amazing. I'm like in awe every time we talk. It's just like filling up my cup.
Oh, no, me too. You're wonderful. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of the Sunday.
Okay. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.